Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, For the Love of Money. Today I just wanted to kind of do things differently. I said, you know what, let's try to set in a different environment and just kind of vibe a little bit differently. Usually, when I make these clips and when I make these videos, I'm sitting in a quiet room, and I don't know, it saddens me. It gives me like it's just something come over me. It makes me so sad. And I'm trying to do these videos, more upbeat, but just based on the situation, it's hard, and I can't. So today I said that try to sit in a different environment, do the clip, and let's just see how it goes. So here we go. For those that are new joining, that just subscribe, you can catch my previous clip, just updating everyone with the things that went on with my sister, Monica, and this whole awareness and everything that I'm doing. The last clip, it pretty much spoke about just paying attention to the signs. I'm going to do a recap, just a little bit on that. Well, not technically a recap, but just kind of still stay on those lines, because I want to share with you guys, there were still just so many different signs leading up to where we actually got to. God has a funny way of doing things, and the reason why I say that is because, have you ever heard someone say, you want to hear God laugh, or you want to see God laugh, tell him your plan and watch him laugh. Because sometimes we think we got it all mapped out and we got it all planned out, when you really don't. You don't have a clue of what's in store for you. Around towards the end of January, I remember sitting down, and I pulled out my notepad, and I was like, God, I need some clarity. I need to simplify my life. Like, I got so many things going on, and I'm doing all these different things, and I got like 10 jobs. I'm a photographer. I'm a radio personality. I'm in management. I'm a mom. I do a lot. Like, God, just let me figure out what I need to be doing, and focus on just a couple of things, and what's more important. I need structure. And I even got off social media. I said, I'm gonna give myself 30 days. I'm gonna get this stuff together, and I'm just gonna listen to what I need to do, because I gotta get this stuff in order. And it was like God said, I'm glad you decided to sit down, because I got something to tell you. It's probably not what you want to hear, but you definitely need some structure and clarity, and you're gonna need to sit down and listen for to this one and pay attention. So just going back, I remember just talking with my family, my mom, I would call my sister, my niece, just everyday passive conversations, just checking in, and hey, what y'all doing, and that kind of stuff, and get off the phone. But have you ever been a person and you listen, but you're really not listening? And at that time, that's who I was. But when I sat down and asked for that clarity, I started paying attention and started noticing I haven't really been listening, or I definitely haven't, been paying attention. So I remember, it was a little bit after my sister, she contacted me one day, and I was going to a birthday brunch. As a matter of fact, it was Starcade's birthday brunch, and we went to Gloria's, and she called me, and she said, in the middle of me going there, traveling, to get to the location, she said, hey girl, she said, what you doing? And I said, oh, nothing, just on my way to this brunch, but she sounded so upbeat, and she sounded like, she was really alert. Because a couple weeks and days prior to that, when I would call and check on her, she never really felt like talking. She would just say that she was tired, and she just needed to get some rest. And she would always say things like, girl, yeah, I'm just gonna, take a bath and soak in this tub. And being a woman, we all do it. We're tired, our bodies hurt, we relax and we get the bubble bath going and we just relax and sit down. So I never thought too much into it, but she would always say that. It made her feel better. She would soak her legs and, just relax in a tub, and it helped her. And I guess I never was thinking so deep into what are you trying to soak your legs for? Like, why are they hurting? Like, where's the pain coming from? I never really understood until later. But again, those were some of the signs. She would always look for a way to relieve some pain. But fast forwarding, when she contacted me and told me that she had to tell me something. She said that she was pregnant. She said, I went to the doctor and she said, I just been in so much pain, and my back been hurting, and all these things been going on, and something just told me, go to the doctor. And she went to the doctor, and the doctor told her and said, ma'am, you don't feel this thing moving around inside of you. And she said, no. And she said, well, you pregnant. So yeah, the doctors told her that she was pregnant. And she said, well, what do you mean I'm pregnant? How pregnant am I? And they said, you pregnant. And she said, well, wow. They said, yeah, you're 6 months pregnant. And when she told me the news, I was silent for like a long time. But in my mind, I'm thinking, wait a minute, how is she pregnant? But I never could even respond. I couldn't say nothing because I didn't know if I should be happy. I didn't know if I should be sad. I didn't know what to think. And she said, why are you so quiet? She said, everybody I tell this to, they're quiet. I said, I really don't know what to say. But she said, yeah, that's how I felt when, the doctors told me. But what was really running through my mind was because, I was just wondering, like, this baby, like, you're pregnant, and, you got all these other complications and things going on. Like, what is it to happen from here? Because you see, at this time, remember, this tumor came back. So it was just a matter of all of us being, so confused. So yeah, she was 6 months pregnant. Backing up just a little bit, we're thinking that, how did the doctors not know that you were pregnant? Because you see, when this tumor came back the second time, the doctors planned on giving her like these injections and all these different things to shrink the tumor, to make sure that it can go away and it's done. But how could you get this medication to shrink the tumor when now you're 6 months pregnant? So that's where the complications and everything came into play. And I asked her, I said, well, Monica, I said, where were you getting your injections? And she said, well, they were giving me injections in my stomach. At that point, I didn't know what to think, because I'm like, if you're getting injections in your stomach, you got a baby in your stomach, what's to come? Like, I think everybody's mind at that point was just running 100 miles per hour, because we didn't know what was going to happen. We just knew that there was a lot of things here on the table. But I was getting all this information still yet over the phone. I still never really at that point knew how serious everything was, because like I said, my sister, she never really complained. Her saying that she was soaking in the tub to relax her legs was just nonchalant when she would say it. Nothing in my mind ever thought that it was something that was affecting or impacting her, or even possibly paralyzing her. Thought she was just soaking her legs. At this point now, when I found out about the baby, I thought maybe You know, it's normal. You know, your legs are hurting because you're pregnant. Your back hurts because you're pregnant. You know, those are complications that anyone experiences sometimes, you know, when they're pregnant. But, you know, that wasn't the case in this case. You know, we didn't understand, you know, all the things that took place once we got further on down the line. But, you know, I'm glad that I asked God for clarity. I'm glad I asked him to, you know, simplify my life, to sit me down, because at that point I started questioning everything. Have you ever had that friend, and or are you that friend? Everybody always says you think too deep, or you just make things so complicated, or you question everything. Keep that friend close. Like, if you that person, don't stop being that person, because I can guarantee somebody's going to need you in their corner one day and they don't even know it. And it's all because you question everything. And it's going to be helpful one day. But I remember talking on the phone with my mom, and, you know, she was back and forth going to work. And I remember her mentioning to me, she said, you know, I'm proud of your brother. I'm so proud of Dedrick, because he don't leave Monica's side. You know, he stays right next to her, and the whole time he's there watching her, making sure she's, you know, able to do the things she need to do. At that point I started listening even harder, because, you know, my brother, you know, he never really sits down and drops nothing he has going on for nobody. So when she said that he was sitting there with my sister every day, at that point I began to figure out why. Like, why is it so important that he's sitting next to her every day? What is he helping her do? She said, well, you know, she can't walk. I said, she can't walk. So, you know, I listened to what she said, because I'm still thinking about the baby and all those things. But again, of course, those were signs. And I got off of the phone with her, but still was puzzled. Like, why is he sitting next to her every day and she can't walk? So I called another day, you know. I actually spoke to my sister this day, and I said, hey, girl, I said, what you doing? She said, oh, I'm just laying in this chair. You know, my feet, they're swole up. My legs, they're swole up. Again, I'm thinking, she's pregnant. So, you know, people swell up when they're pregnant, because she's not making a big deal out of it. She's not making it seem like it's something serious. So I'm assuming like it's okay. She said, yeah. And she would, you know, I would FaceTime her, and she would put the camera on her legs and say, see? And she would be in this chair at my mom's house, and it was a recliner, and she would always be there. But I thought she was there just relaxing, because it was a very comfortable chair. But, you know, she was at that point, her legs were swelling. She was, I guess, being paralyzed, or, you know, whatever was happening. So, you know, another day went on. I called and I spoke to my niece. And then she said the same thing. She said, yeah, I'm here, you know, just, I'm cooking. I'm helping take care of stuff, and I got to help my mama. And I told her, I said, Missy, I said, when you say you got to help your mama, I said, what is it that you're helping her do? And she said, everything. You know, she can't walk. I help her. I have to help her get up, go to the restroom. I help her, you know, she uses the wheelchair. Like, she started explaining all these things of a person that couldn't walk, not because they chose not to walk. You know, it's a difference. Not because they chose, like, you know, I'm tired, I'm hurting, and I don't feel like walking at this time. No, she explained it, or I understood it, or should I say I was just able to pay more attention to a person that even if I wanted to lift my legs and walk, I can't. And that's when things began to register with me. Something was wrong. So later on, when I talked to my mom, I said, Mama, I said, how long has this been going on? She said, well, you know, one of her legs was kind of good. She was able to use it, and the other one wasn't so good. And now, seemed like both her legs, they not too good. I said, but Mama, that's not normal. And she said, yeah, I think she needs to go to the doctor. I said, well, we've already found out she's 6 months pregnant. I said, at this point, she's a high-risk pregnancy. She needs to be at the doctor. She said, well, you know, she gets so tired. Every time she goes to the doctor, they keep turning her around. They'll say that, you know, she's okay, or they'll give her this, or tell her, you know, there's nothing wrong, and you know, they just make up these excuses. I said, look, I said, the next time she goes to the doctor, I said, you need to do whatever it is to make those doctors keep her. I said, somebody needs to watch her. Somebody needs 24-hour care, monitoring what's going on with her. And at that point, I began to get angry because I knew that, you know, the sense of urgency needed to be there. And the doctors need to understand that, hey, it's a situation. Even though at this point I didn't know what the situation was, I knew that it was a situation, and I knew I had to get there soon to help escalate, you know, the situation. So that was my whole goal. Yeah, at this point, that's when I realized we had to do whatever it took to get her to and admitted into the hospital so that she can have somebody monitoring and watching her. I talked to her one night. She couldn't sleep, and she was actually at this point on her way to the hospital, and she said, I can't even ride in a car. It hurts to ride in a car. I said, why does it hurt so bad for you to ride in a car? She said, it just hurt. I said, well, why don't you lay down in the back seat? My brother-in-law was driving her to the hospital. He drove her to one hospital that night, and they sent her home. I guess at this point it just didn't sit well with him, and so he took her to another hospital where he wanted to, I guess, express she needed to be in the hospital. You know, I talked to her till she got there, and I said, y'all keep calling me and let me know what's going on, update me, make sure you keep me in the loop. And it was a struggle for her just to even ride in the car to get to the hospital. But when they got there, you know, this day, they still didn't keep her in the hospital. They actually sent her home. So it was signs like this where things began to continue to get worse by the minute. But the signs was there all along, and I think we just wasn't really paying attention to them because it was complications when your mind's trying to focus on what's going on with someone, especially when they're pregnant and they show all the same symptoms of a pregnant person. But the whole goal was to get her in the hospital. That night she didn't get admitted, but she had another appointment coming up soon, so I told my mom the same thing. I said, when she gets to the hospital, you got to make a scene. I don't care what you got to do, but you got to make them admit her into the hospital. And I remember I had to come into work. I said, when you get there, I said, y'all make sure y'all call me. I said, because I want to know what's going on, you know. This time when she went to the hospital, they kept her. And you know what was crazy? She started crying. I mean, not because at that moment she was in pain, but she started crying because she was excited because she was going to get some help. She was excited that this is the one time they didn't turn her around. And they kept her in the hospital. She felt like she had a chance now because now I'm admitted into the hospital. Y'all got to monitor me. She stayed at the hospital that time, and she never got a chance to come back. I almost held it together, but you can see I couldn't. But she got admitted into the hospital, and we were excited about it because we knew now we had some people that was going to pay attention to all these signs, and we wasn't going to have to look by ourselves. And I think we thought it was going to get easier, but honestly at that point it still really didn't get easier. It was just now she was admitted into the hospital. Well, thank you for joining me with my second clip of For the Love of Money. I'm gonna let you guys go. I talk way too long, but I wanted to catch you up and also make you aware of there were still so many more signs, and you know, we still got a long ways to go even when she got admitted into the hospital. But at this point, we found out she was already 6 months pregnant, getting injections. Didn't know she was pregnant. Doctors didn't know she was pregnant. Now she's admitted into the hospital. More signs still coming, even in the hospital. But you guys just have to stay tuned and continue to follow me through this journey, so I can, you know, share all these things that led to, you know, her death. And we fought, but you know, she just didn't make it. But thank you all for joining me. I hope you all tune in again next week on For the Love of Money. And just continue to keep my family in prayers.
Told me about the days she said be careful, youngin'. She used to pray today my patience turn me into something. She said hold on to something, or fall fast for nothing. So work hard and struggle.